Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes. Good afternoon. So we had a wonderful session last week, right? Wherein we were discussing on, we have covered the charge of GST, forward charge, reverse charge. With the MCQ, we have covered it very well. I was expecting that we will complete it before time, but with the MCQs, with the explanation, it was very, very nice that a topic which is so very boring got converted into an interesting topic, and we were able to focus on the topic. We were able to focus on the questions and take it up. Today we have a very interesting topic. This topic is called as place of supply. Very interesting topic because this is so very practical. You'll see so many practical questions coming from this topic. If you understand the practicality, then the theoretical aspects also you will understand it very well, because it is not a rocket science. It is very lengthy in terms of some services. That's the only concern, that what is the place of supply is to be determined, right? Because we had discussed in the earlier chapters that how do we determine the applicability of GST, where the location of supplier and place of supply. These are the two factors which are relevant. Where the location of supplier and place of supply are in the same state, then it is a intrastate supply. When the location of supplier and place of supply are in two different states, then it is an interstate supply. Correct? So where these two factors, where they are located, that is important. Where it is in the same state, it is a intrastate supply. When it is in different state, it is an interstate supply. Simple. But what is place of supply? How do you determine what is the place of supply? To identify that, to know that, that is where we will go through this chapter on place of supply. In place of supply, we will decide what is the place of supply. Like we had taken an example in terms of goods, in terms of services. Goods, we can decide the place of supply very easily because the goods are moving from one place to another place. That is fine. But what happens in case of services? In services, what do you do? Is the place of supply easily determinable, or is it complicated? Generally, in case of place of supply, for services, it will be very complicated, because in case of place of supply for services, you do not actually know where the service is being provided. Okay. Sir, missed few lectures due to some reason. Can I attend it from now? Will it be able to understand? Yes, definitely, Ritika. This is a new chapter. So you'll be able to understand, not be very complicated. So let's take an example. Now I am selling some goods to you. Now, when I sell goods to you, we know that what is the time of supply, right? What is the time of supply? We will read it later on, but just a general understanding, let me tell you that when you sell something, what is the place of that supply? Now, a, a factory which is manufactured, it is selling to its customer. Now, what is the place of supply in this scenario of a factory selling goods from its factory gate to the customer's gate? What do you think is the place of supply? Because we have to determine the place of supply. How do you otherwise know whether it is a charge of CGST, SGST, or it's a charge of IGST? Now, you are a supplier. You are a supplier. You are supplying goods. So you have to decide what GST you have to charge. Where we have availed that good, Niketana, And Vinita, good afternoon. So the answers what I'm getting is where the factory is situated, where the factory is the place of supply. Place of supply is end point, is where goods are received. Okay. If you are selling from factory gate, then CGST and SGST. Okay. Place of delivery on invoice. Place of delivery on the invoice. Okay. Where you are delivering, the place of the factory. So very confusing. Few people can say that if your state is in Maharashtra, if you are belonging to Maharashtra, you want maximum revenue for your government. So you will tell place of supply is Maharashtra. I am the consumer state. Say I am in Northeast and I am from Manipur. Now I am consuming in Manipur, so I will tell Manipur is the place of supply. But you will tell no, no, the transaction is starting from Maharashtra and reaching at Manipur. So the place of supply is Maharashtra. So there will be very much conflicts if a place of supply is not decided. So that's the reason we have to decide exactly what is the actual place of supply. Okay. So there are rules which determine and concretely tell that if these situations exist, then this is the place of supply. Okay. It can be delivery place, it can be the place of consumption. Now, in case of place of consumption, how do you decide what is the place of consumption? Because I might supply to you in Manipur. You may use the goods while you are going from Manipur to Himachal Pradesh. Now, you may go there and consume. So, identifying the place of consumption becomes very difficult. So, how do I know where you will consume? I can only have control. Remember my question, what we started off. I am a manufacturer. Now, manufacturer will have to decide the place of supply today because he's supplying it today. The consumption, if it happens, of course, what you're saying is right because GST is a destination based consumption tax. The law is made in such a way that it is a destination based consumption tax. So, from that perspective, you can say that yes, where it is consumed. But from a seller's perspective, let's take practicality. As we had told, that this chapter is about practicality. So, how will the seller today decide what is the place of supply for the goods which he is selling? So it is destination based, place where ownership is changing. Okay. So lot of points which you're getting in, very much relevant, very much relevant. We'll understand what is that place which is relevant for us. So we'll get into the slides and understand that. Why place of supply, firstly, is very important is we will learn the following things. Why place of supply is important, which we already understood. What is a B2B and B2C transaction? There's something called as a B2B transaction and one more thing called as B2C transaction. We'll understand that. Then we'll understand that there is separate provisions for place of supply for goods and there are separate provisions for place of supply of services. So place of supply of goods also could be that when you are doing anything within India or when you're doing any transaction outside India. So any transactions which we do within India is covered under section 10. It says that the place of supply of goods other than the goods imported or exported from India. So other than import and export is dealt in section 10. Section 11 deals with supply of goods other for goods imported or exported of India. That is not there for your syllabus. That will be in the finals. And then place of supply for goods, how they are distinguishing between within India and outside India. Similarly, for services also, you have two sections. Place of supply of services where the location of supplier and location of recipient is in India, then it is dealt with section 12, wherein both the location of supplier and location of recipient should be in India, then it is 12. If location of supplier or location of recipient, if any one of them is outside India, then again it will be a different section, that is section 13. So where the place of supply of services is in India, it is 12, which is relevant for our exam. And where the place of supply of the either of them, either the supplier or recipient, one of them is also outside India, then it is Section 30. Interstate supply. What is an interstate supply? We had read in the Constitution that Constitution gave power only to the central government to decide what is an interstate supply. So that is there in Section 7. Section 7 also we'll go through in this chapter to understand what is an interstate supply. And in Section 8, we will understand what is an intrastate supply. And supplies in territorial waters, that also we will see in Section 9. So this is the agenda for our this chapter, what we will deal with. Taxes firstly are to be paid correctly. That is, in case of an intrastate transaction, CGST and SGST has to be paid. What happens when instead of CGST and SGST, IGST is paid? What happens if place of supply is different? Because the Constitution empowered union to make rules, hence it is there only in IGST. But place of supply is the place where the supply is actually consumed. That is the general understanding. Now, let's go back to our first question. What happens if taxes are wrongly paid? Now, anyways, it is GST. Everything is part of the GST. So we'll go to the first question, then we come to the second one. What happens according to you when instead of CGST and SGST, you have paid IGST? What can you do? Because we are determining the place of supply. Why place of supply is crucial? Because wrong tax payment will have implication. So let us understand firstly what is the implication that if you pay a tax wrongly, what will happen to you? Because Sanya, question is why we are not reading CGST Act for determination of place of supply? Because the Constitution said that place of supply will be decided by the central government, and that is all provided under the IGST Act. So we will read the provisions for place of supply under the IGST Act, and that same principles are borrowed in the CGST Act as well as the SGST Act. When we transfer title set off, oh, okay, Shruti Kumar is saying that you can set off अगर आपने गलती से CGST SGST की जगह IGST पे कर दिया या IGST पे करना था आपने CGST SGST पे किया, you can set off. Respective credit claims of state and union territory will have implications, right? Refund will be wrong. IGST is paid in case of interstate supply. Okay, that is all right. IGST is paid. But what happens when IGST is to be paid, but you have paid CGST, SGST? तो मैं क्या पूछना चाह रहा हूं कि आपको CGST और SGST पे करना था, लेकिन आपने IGST पे कर दिया, तो उसका सॉल्यूशन क्या निकलेगा? आपको पता है आपने करने से पहले तो गलती नहीं की, करने के बाद आपको पता चल गया कि आपने एक गलती की है, तो उसका क्या इम्प्लीकेशन होगा? Refund will be wrong. IGST is paid in case of interstate refund. Okay. Again, credit correct taxes pay करना होंगे. Okay. So you have to pay to the correct taxes. इतना आसान है क्या? सो इफ आपको 1 करोड़ रुपए आपका ट्रांजैक्शन, यूर बिग कंपनी, आपने टैक्सेस 1 करोड़ रुपए पे कर दिया. नाउ 1 करोड़ आपको सीजीएसटी एसटी में पे करना था, लेकिन आपने पूरा 1 करोड़ आईजीएसटी में पे कर दिया. सो इट बी अ बिग थिंग. व्हाट विल यू डू देन? बिल कैंसिल करके न्यू बिल बनाएंगे? नहीं, क्योंकि आपने बिल तो ऑलरेडी बना दिया है. द कस्टमर हैज ऑलरेडी रिसीव्ड इट. कस्टमर को आप फिर से कैंसिल करके नया बिल नहीं दे सकते. व्हाई विल यू गिव अ न्यू बिल? Then central government pays the SGST to the particular state. Okay, that is दैट्स अ विश इफ दैट हैपेंस, बोर पे चाहिए नहीं हमको, लेकिन there is no such provision of set off. There is no provision for the central government to pay the SGST to the particular state. That will not happen. So if you are paying taxes, you have to determine the place of supply correctly and pay the correct tax. क्योंकि like somebody was saying कि refund का एक option है. Yes, if you have paid IGST, instead of paying CGST and SGST, you have to pay the taxes again of the correct tax with the correct head. आपको IGST पे करना था, आपने C और S पे कर दिया, तो आपने जो पे कर दिया वो ठीक है, लेकिन आप अभी करेक्ट टैक्स पे कीजिए विच वॉज IGST इन योर ट्रांजैक्शन. अगर आपने IGST करेक्टली पे कर दिया है तो फिर वो डॉक्यूमेंट आपको ऑफिसर को बताना पड़ेगा कि मैंने अब करेक्ट टैक्स पे कर दिया गया है, और दैट CGST और SGST का रिफंड दे दीजिए. सो दे विल प्रोसेस द रिफंड बेस्ड ऑन द कंडीशन दैट आपने करेक्ट टैक्सेस पे कर दिया है. सो व्हेन यू पे द करेक्ट टैक्सेस इट मींस इट्स अ बर्डन फॉर यू. जैसे मैंने एग्जांपल दिया था फॉर 1 crore rupees, सो इट्स अ बिग बर्डन, राइट? सो द कंपनी हैज टू पे दैट अगेन and then claim the refund. You cannot cancel your invoices because invoice has already been raised, and in the invoice also you mentioned correctly. The only question is that based on the determination of place of supply, you have mentioned the tax head correctly, but while filing the returns, you have made a mistake. You have paid the taxes wrongly. So in that case, what you have to do is you have to pay the correct taxes. जो 1 करोड़ आपने 50 लाख रुपीज CGST, 50 लाख रुपीज SGST पे किया था, अभी आप उसको क्या करेंगे, करेक्ट पूरा 1 लाख रुपीज IGST पे करोगे. IGST पे करने के बाद आपने जो रॉन्ग टैक्सेस पे किया CGST SGST का, यू हैव टू टेक रिफंड फॉर दैट. How will this be refunded? It will be refunded through a refund procedure. You have to apply for refund online. Once you apply for the file online, then they will process it and you will get the refund. बोथ IGST CGST सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को जाता है, करेक्ट, लेकिन IGST इज फॉर्मिंग पार्ट ऑफ द कंसोलिडेटेड फंड ऑफ इंडिया. CGST is not forming part of the consolidated fund of India. Just we have seen the provisions of IGST, जहाँ पे IGST का provisions जो है, it says that the taxes what is collected as IGST will go to the respective state, and whatever is left out, because the credit is getting transferred from one state to another state, so IGST moves from one state to another state, correct? Because when you have taken the credit, you have seen in the first chapter how the transaction moves. When you take the credit, that is a state credit. Now from that credit, if you have paid any output tax, you have utilized this credit. Now this credit is getting converted into IGST when you make a interstate supply. Now when it is an interstate supply, the IGST goes to the central government. Now somebody will take the credit of that IGST, correct? So once somebody takes the credit of the IGST, central government will move that credit which is there till now as IGST to that respective state government. So that is where the transformation happens, that IGST doesn't sit with the government. It has to be given back to the other state. So they will take the credit and give it to that other state. Okay. So IGST, that's why I would say IGST, even though it goes to the central government, full amount doesn't go to the central government. The credit has to be passed on to the respective state. And then whatever is left out, balance in the IGST, that can be distributed between center and state. So there's a lot of difference between CGST and IGST. Even though both are collected by the central government, CGST goes directly to the central government, but IGST have to move from one state to another state. Any time limit for claiming refund? Yes, it says that 2 years, 2 years from the date of correct payment of taxes, you have to claim it. So imagine that you made a mistake, you realize it later on. From that date, okay, you have to claim the refund. Yes, Bhavnagar.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
Good afternoon.
सर जैसे इनपुट को आउटपुट से एडजस्ट करते हैं, इनपुट
हम्म,
जीएसटी को आउटपुट से एडजस्ट करते हैं, और अब जैसे मिस्टेक हो जाती है कि हमने उसको आईजीएसटी मान लिया, तो क्या सर फिर वो उस केस में ऐसे एडजस्टमेंट नहीं हो सकती?
नहीं, वैसा एडजस्टमेंट टैक्स पेमेंट में नहीं हो सकता है। तो क्या करना पड़ेगा हमको, अगर पूरा टैक्सेस सीजीएसटी में पे कर दिया लेकिन हमको आईजीएसटी पे करना था, तो सीजीएसटी से आप आईजीएसटी में बिफोर फाइलिंग योर रिटर्न्स कर सकते हो। क्योंकि रिटर्न के पहले जब आपने चालान पे किया है, चालान से आप एडजस्ट कर सकते हो। लेकिन अगर आपने रिटर्न्स में ही रॉन्ग कर दिया है, तब आप एडजस्ट नहीं कर पाओगे, क्योंकि तो फिर कुछ कंटिन्यूटी नहीं रहेगा। सो दैट्स में रिटर्न में अगर गलती कर दिया है, तो फिर आपको रिटर्न करेक्शन करने का प्रोविजन नहीं है। क्योंकि आप एक बार
ये
रिटर्न फाइल कर देते हो, आप उसको रिवाइज नहीं कर सकते हो। तो
ओके सर।
इसलिए गवर्नमेंट हैज कम अप विद द प्रोसीजर सेइंग दैट ठीक है, आपकी गलती हो गई है, यू पे द राइट रिटर्न, पे द राइट टैक्सेस अंडर द राइट हेड, वो पे करके आप हमको चालान दे दीजिए। देन मेक अ रिक्वेस्ट, बेस्ड ऑन दैट वी विल रेक्टिफाई दिस, और फिर आपको रिफंड मिल जाएगा।
ओके सर।
So that is the why it is very important that at the time of making the supply itself, you decide the place of supply and pay the correct taxes. Place of what is place of supply? It is a constitutionally empowered union to make rules. Hence, it is there only in IGST because the power is there only with the central government. And अगर मैं SGST में डालूंगा, तो प्रॉब्लम क्या आ जाएगा? Whatever is there in the CGST Act, that has to replicate in the SGST Act. तो फिर it will become too voluminous or too high. That's why they've said that what is the place of supply. They have mentioned the provisions of place of supply only in the IGST Act. You have two things. One is place of supply for goods separately and place of supply for services. We have seen that. Why? Because for goods, the determination is little different, and for services, it is different. Place of supply for goods is where the goods move, tangible, so easily identifiable. So place of supply of goods is where the goods are moving. So if in the first example, when I said that manufacturer is trying to sell something, if it is his responsibility to deliver the goods to the customer, then the customer's location will become the place of supply. But if it is not to customer location, if it is to some other location which is close by, then that location will be the place of supply. So that is the concept of place of supply, where the for goods, where the goods move, that is the place of supply. Place of supply for services, is it so easy? No, it is not that easy, because for place of supply of services, you have a lot of things. There is difficulty due to the manner of delivery. There is difficulty that the service provider receiver may not be ascertainable. Third scenario is where services may flow in more than one state. Then what do you do? Which state do you pay the GST? And then actual place of consumption of service may vary. Now, for services, when I am taking the services of a software vendor, I may be utilizing it at my office, or I may be utilizing it outside my office also, because software services are all intangible. So these intangible services can move anywhere. So what will be the place of supply for services is a little discussion which you have to dwell into. Now, we understood why place of supply is important. अभी ये समझ लीजिए थे कि क्या B2B होता है, क्या B2C होता है. Very important, because these terms we will be using very often now. What is a B2B transaction? It is a business to business transaction. In such type of transactions, the recipient is also registered per supplier and hence eligible to take ITC. Okay. So where you are registered and you have one more registered person, you are doing any transaction between these two registered person. That is, in such type of transaction, the recipient is also a registered supplier, and hence, since he is also registered, he can claim the credit. This is called as B2B transaction. Second is B2C transaction, wherein it's called as business to consumer transaction, जहाँ पे a person who is registered under GST is billing supply to, he is raising invoice. Now he is raising invoice to a person who is not registered. तो अगर आप रजिस्टर्ड हो तो फिर आपको जीएसटी तो रेस करना पड़ेगा, लेकिन कस्टमर का स्टेटस के ऊपर आपको डिसाइड करना है कि आप किसको रेस करोगे. इफ इट इज बिजनेस, देन यू विल रेज अ बी टू बी इनवॉइस. इफ इट इज कस्टमर, यू विल रेज अ इनवॉइस, रेगुलर सेम इनवॉइस इटसेल्फ, लेकिन उस इनवॉइस का नाम हो जाएगा बी टू सी इनवॉइस. Okay, so that's how the transaction is a B2B in case of a registered to other registered person, and B2C in case of a registered to unregistered person. What would be the example of B2B? Okay, so Reliance, you're buying phone from uh, a company, Sangeeta Mobiles. Now, Sangeeta Mobile is registered. You are also registered. You're buying a phone from Sangeeta Mobiles. That is an example of a B2B transaction, where a B2B is transaction between one business entity to another business entity. That is called as B2B transaction. Apple to Reliance, anything. Yes. When there is a corporate entry saying that Apple is providing some services to Reliance Jio, then they are raising the invoice, and that is also B2B transaction. So if customer is also registered person, can he claim ITC? Yes, definitely. The main intention itself is that if the person is registered and if you are using any of these services for your official use, since for personal use, full amount will get reversed. So for official use, we have to use it as B2B. Okay. Now we'll decide the place of supply of goods. Place of supply for goods, as we have discussed, is covered under Section 10 of the IGST Act. तो ये Section 10 क्या बोलता है? That there are various rules to provide the place of supply of goods. Okay. Where the supply involves movement of goods. Even with goods also, there can be some variations where the supply is involving movement of goods, where the second part is where the goods being delivered on bill to ship to model. Okay. And third will be where the supply is not involving movement of goods. First is supply involving movement of goods. Second is goods delivered on bill to ship to model, and goods not involving movement of goods. Okay. And then fourth scenario will be where the goods are assembled. So various scenarios are there. For each scenario, we'll go and deep dive and see what is the place of supply. Fourth scenario is goods assembled at site. And fifth scenario is goods supplied on board a conveyance. Okay. Whatever you supply when the conveyance is there. What is a conveyance? Any mode of transportation. Suppose aeroplane, train. These are the common modes of transport. So anything which is supplied on board a conveyance, but that is not everything, only the goods, because here we are dealing with Section 10 is only with goods. Section 13 and 14 will deal with services. Okay. So we'll go one by one and understand this. What is the place of supply of goods when the supply involves movement of goods? Okay. Where the supply involves movement of good, that case, the place of supply will be place of supply of the location of the goods. Place of supply in case of supply involving movement of goods will be the place of supply will be the location of the goods at the time when the goods movement of goods terminates for delivery to the recipient. I have placed an order for 5 laptops from Lenovo. Now, this Lenovo will manufacture and these goods are movable goods. Now, this supply involves movement of goods. To complete the supply, they will have to deliver those laptops to my office. Okay. When they are supply involves movement of goods, where in the transaction, movement of goods is involved, right? I am placed an order for 5 laptops and that supply to be get fulfilled, they will have to move the goods. So Lenovo will move the goods. So it is a supply involving movement of goods. In such case, the place of supply will be the location of the goods at the time when the goods movement of goods terminates. So wherever that goods are located, that is the place of supply. That is, if you are transporting the 5 laptops from Maharashtra to Bangalore, right? Then my Bangalore will become the place of supply. Clear? So where the supply involves movement, then the place of supply will be the place where the goods are getting terminated. Goods की journey जहाँ पे खत्म हो रही है. Where this goods is getting halted or getting the supply completed. That is the place of supply. Now let's take some example to understand this. Now goods are there in city A and you have a contract to get the goods delivered in city B. Now, in this case, what is the place of supply? Simple. It is city B because that is the where you have to termination ends. Okay. Now, take a scenario where goods are in city A and your contract is FOB. FOB is the place where you are again selling to B itself, but the place of supply is FOB. FOB means that you will deliver the goods at your factory gate and the customer will come and take the responsibility for transportation of the goods. Now, you are selling from city A to a person who is in city B. Okay, FOB, but to a person of city B. So in this case, what will be the place of supply? So in this case, many are saying that it will become city B. No, it will not be city B. FOB is freight on board. That is, I will X factory. You call it as FOB in case of import, but in local, within the city, within the same country, you will call it as X works or X factory. So where your responsibility ends when you manufacture and keep it at your factory gate, that is called as X works. So in case of X works, your place of supply will not be city B. Your place of supply will be city A itself because your responsibility was to give the goods at the factory gate and it is the customer's responsibility to collect it and get it delivered. So in such case, the place of supply will be city A itself. It will not become city B. Okay, so people who are saying city B, don't get confused. When it is a X works or a X factory or a FOB based transaction, then you have to give the goods at your factory gate and the customer will collect it. That's why it is city A itself. Now, that is a simple case to understand. Now, where the place of supply is, now we've read 10.1a, now we'll go to 10.1b, where the supply involves bill to ship to transaction, wherein you have to bill to one person, but shipping has to happen to another person. In that case, what do we do? Manoj Makwana, in case of a transaction of X factory works, then e-waybill is still required because e-waybill is required for movement of goods. So for the goods are getting movement, for that the receiver will raise a e-waybill and he will mention the invoice number and he will tell that I am carrying the goods. So he will still raise a e-waybill. Supplier will not raise a e-waybill because supplier's responsibility is getting completed. He is not moving the goods. The receiver is moving the goods. So the receiver will still raise a e-invoice. He will raise the e-waybill as well. He will raise the e-waybill. Now, this scenario is when I have agreed that I will correct. Receiver will generate the e-waybill. Now, in case of a bill to ship to transaction, what's happening is Ganesh Traders is the supplier. Now, when Ganesh Traders supplied, he got an order from whom? He first got an order from Maruti Traders. This is the first scenario where he's got an order to deliver the goods. Maruti Traders will tell that I want to buy some products from you. He will raise a request to Ganesh Traders and tell that please please supply 100 kgs of steel to me. Okay. So he will place the order. Ganesh Traders is ready to ship it. Now, when Ganesh Traders wants to ship it, this Maruti Traders from Karnataka says that, boss, you anyways wants to ship it. Don't ship it to me. Ship it to my customer at Tamil Nadu. So Ganesh Traders will ship it to Prime Hardwares, which is in Tamil Nadu. At whose instructions? They are supplying it to Prime Hardware because of self or because of the customer's instructions? The customer's instructions, correct? Because Maruti Traders have told that I found another customer. That's why it's raising it. That's why it is delivering it to Tamil Nadu location. But and whose instructions? At the instructions of Maruti Traders itself. So the place of supply in this case, this is built to one person and ship to another person. So in case of a build to and ship to, the place of supply will not be the Prime Hardware's location. The place of supply will be the place or the person on whose instructions I'm shipping it. So primary contract for me is with Maruti Traders. So Maruti Traders has told me to supply to them. So the place of supply will be the Maruti Traders. Even though the goods are getting delivered to Prime Hardwares, never mind, the place of supply will be the place of that person who has given me the order. Okay. And now goods are moving to Prime Hardwares. Is it that my contract? No, that contract is there between Maruti Traders and Prime Hardware. So that Maruti Traders will raise an invoice to Prime Hardwares based on their own location. Now there are Karnataka and Tamil Nadu are in two different locations. So they will again decide that based on this. And there is a border between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So that is the place of supply for transfer or billing from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu. So they will again raise a IGST invoice. If Maruti Traders also in Maharashtra, yes. If Maruti Traders was also in Maharashtra, then for you we have another slide. This case. So in this case where Maruti Traders also is in Maharashtra, then what will happen? He will bill CGST and SGST. Why? Because the location of supplier and place of supply is in same state. Maruti Traders is in the same state. So it's a transaction of intra-state supply. Even though the goods will get delivered to Karnataka, the place of delivery will not be relevant in case of a bill to ship to transaction. So in case of a bill to ship to transaction, the location of delivery is not important. The person to whom you are billing, that is important. Okay. So in this case, we have clearly understood that Ganesh Traders and Maruti Traders are in the same state. So place of supply is Maruti Traders location, which is in Karnataka. in Maharashtra, sorry, in Maharashtra in our case, and it is getting delivered to Karnataka. So the still the place of supply will be the primary contract what I have received from. Example one, who person having GST is out of the state GST. He comes in within the state and stay. He purchasing one item, but his shipped address also within the state address. Then he is to give or shown in his out of state GST or no. So what happens if I show that I will charge CGST and SGST to a person who's coming from outside the state, Vinota? तो फिर व्हाट हैपेंस इज आप सीजीएसटी एसटी चार्ज करेंगे लेकिन उसको क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा तो फिर वो क्या बोलेगा कि मेरे नाम पे आप बिल बनवा के आप आईजीएसटी चार्ज कर दीजिए सो उसको क्रेडिट चाहिए इसीलिए वो ऐसे बोलेगा लेकिन जो प्रैक्टिकली उसको वैसे ही करते हैं लेकिन थियोरिटिकली जब हम देखेंगे प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी द प्लेस वेयर आई डिलीवर द गुड्स अगर मैं यहाँ पे डिलीवर करता हूँ तो फिर मैं को सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी चार्ज करना पड़ेगा Maruti collect IGST and paid CGST SGST. Correct. Because it will bill as IGST, but it will pay CGST and SGST. There is two bills generated. Correct. In a bill to ship to transaction, there are two transactions. So for always two bills will be raised. Okay. Now for raising that bill, we have to see who is billing it and what is the place of supply from his perspective. From Ganesh Traders perspective, the place of supply will be Maruti Traders. And from Maruti Traders perspective, it will have to see what is the place of supply for its transaction with Prime Hardwares. So two transactions, there will be two different EV bills. वीरेंद्र शर्मा सिंपल है इसमें कि हिंदी में समझा देता हूं कि आप जब बिल टू शिप टू ट्रांजैक्शन करते हो फर्स्ट तो हमने फर्स्ट ट्रांजैक्शन में कहा कि अगर गुड्स कहाँ पे एंड होते हैं टर्मिनेट होते हैं दैट विल बी द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई तो उस रूल का एक्सेप्शन 10(1)(b) में आ गया है जो बोलता है कि अगर आप किसी पर्सन एक बंदे को बिल करते हो और दूसरे बंदे को शिप करते हो ठीक है तो बिलिंग और शिपिंग दो दूसरी जगह हो गया तो फिर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई फर्स्ट रूल के हिसाब से तो जहां पे गुड्स खत्म एंड हो रहे वहां पे होना चाहिए लेकिन 10(1)(b) जो बोलता है कि अगर आप बिल एक स्टेट में करते हो शिप दूसरे स्टेट में करते हो तो फिर आप किसको बिल कर रहे हो दैट विल डिसाइड योर ट्रांजैक्शन आप किसको बिल करते हो अगर वो बिल करने वाला जो कस्टमर है वो आपके स्टेट में है तो फिर आपको सीजीएसटी एंड एसजीएसटी पे करना पड़ेगा लेकिन आप किसी बंदे को बिल डिलीवरी कर रहे हो शिप कर रहे हो लेकिन वो आउटसाइड द स्टेट है ठीक है तो रूल ये बोलता है कि आप किसको बिल कर रहे हो अगर वो बंदा सेम स्टेट में है तो फिर सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी चार्ज करो अगर वो बंदा दूसरे स्टेट में है तो फिर आईजीएसटी चार्ज करो इफ मारुति इज इन कर्नाटका वी विल अप्लाई आईजीएसटी करेक्ट इन केस गणेश ट्रेडर मारुति ट्रेडर एंड प्राइवेट ऑल आर इन वन स्टेट देन तो फिर कुछ दिक्कत ही नहीं है सब लोग सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी चार्ज करेंगे तो फिर ये बॉर्डर्स जो है बीच में ये हट जाएगा तो फिर व्हाट विल बी इट विल बी लाइक अ रेगुलर ट्रांजैक्शन कि आप या तो फिर बिल वाले को करो या शिप वाले को करो दोनों विद इन द सेम स्टेट में ही है चलेगा सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी ही चार्ज करेंगे in case Ganesh trader Maruti trader all institution who we are billing is considered as the place of supply correct exactly कसक जब हम किसको बिल कर रहे हैं उसके बेसिस पे आप ट्रांजैक्शन देखिए सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी आईजीएसटी चार्ज कीजिए सर इफ देयर इज एफओबी इन दिस ट्रांजैक्शन देन सर व्हाट विल हैपन if it is FOB, then it will not be a bill to ship to transaction, correct? Because from the supplier it ends. Now customer is taking it. Now customer will sell it. So in that scenario, it will be his place of supply and the where the goods are getting terminated. So if it is FOB, then the responsibility of the seller completes. Then the responsibility of the first customer comes in and he will take the goods and supply it to the his customer. So that will again be decided on a regular basis where his place of supply and where the goods are getting delivered, that will be the place of supply. Yeah, if in this case it will be if Maharashtra, if uh, for the first transaction, if Maharashtra in FOB, then seller will raise CGST and SGST. Now the customer comes and picks it up and deliver it to a different state, then it will again be IGST transaction. Okay, so we understood what is the place of supply for goods in normal situation and what is the place of supply of goods in bill to ship to transaction. Now we'll go to a third scenario where place of supply of goods in section 10(1)(c), where supply is not involving movement of goods. First, we discussed supply involves movement of goods. In second, also it is involving movement. Now, supply itself is not involving movement of goods. In such scenario, the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Very confusing. The place of supply of goods in case of a transaction where the supply is not involving movement of goods will be the location at which the place of supply will be the location of the goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Let's take an example. I have given some goods on hire or some kind of hire purchase and lease purchase to you. हायर परचेज में क्या होता है कि मैं मशीनरी बेचता हूँ, आपको बेचता नहीं हूँ, मशीनरी सेंड करता हूँ. व्हेन आई गिव यू द मशीनरी, you can use it and pay me the, if it is finance lease, then you'll pay me the lease. If you are using it for certain period, for a short duration, then you'll pay me the operating lease. Correct? So that is liable to GST, no problem. Lekin after the lease term is completed, okay, you have the goods, you have the machinery. After the lease term is completed, you say that you want to buy the goods. So I will say, okay, since you have the goods already with you, I will not charge any delivery charges. We will agree at the price at which you can use the use. Based on that, you will pay me. Okay. The place of supply is the location of the goods at the time of delivery. So goods are already there with you. You are now paying me the value of the asset. So their movement is not required because the goods are already with you. करेक्ट. जब गुड्स आपके पास ऑलरेडी है तब मूवमेंट की जरूरत नहीं है. तो फिर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या हो जाएगा? प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई होगा द लोकेशन ऑफ द गुड्स द टाइम ऑफ डिलीवरी. मतलब वेयर हमें गुड्स आपके पास ऑलरेडी है, तो फिर दैट इटसेल्फ विल बिकम द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. Goods are in possession, not in ownership. Very true. And now the ownership is getting transferred. So the place of supply will be the place where the goods are actually located. ये मूवेबल गुड्स पे अप्लाई होगा. हाँ, ये मूवेबल गुड्स पे अप्लाई होगा, लेकिन सप्लाई में मूवमेंट इन्वॉल्व नहीं है. सो हम सब कुछ मूवेबल गुड्स की ही बात करें. इफ इट इज इमूवेबल गुड्स, किरण, तो फिर जीएसटी नहीं आएगा, बिकॉज जीएसटी इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल ऑन इमूवेबल गुड्स. जैसे लैंड हो गया, उसके ऊपर आप जीएसटी पे नहीं करोगे. तो पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट ये जो है, जीएसटी का कॉन्सेप्ट इज बेस्ड ऑन द फैक्ट दैट इट इज ऑन goods and services, and goods का मतलब it will always be movable. So we have to determine place of supply for all persons such as manufacturer, wholesaler and retailer. Anybody who is selling, everybody who is selling, for them we have to determine the place of supply. From your exam perspective also, for all the three we have to determine. Okay, so that is the place of supply where the, for those supply where does not involve movement of goods. Now we'll take next scenario where the सप्लाई इन्वॉल्विंग इंस्टॉलेशन और असेंबली ऑफ गुड्स. कितने वैरायटी के सेल या कितने वैरायटी के ट्रांजैक्शन हो सकते हैं? गवर्नमेंट हैज आल्सो डिसाइडेड दैट इतने सारे हो सकते हैं. सो दे हैव डिसाइडेड दैट ईच ट्रांजैक्शन के लिए अलग अलग प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई बताएंगे ताकि कंफ्यूजन नहीं. नाउ अब ये वाला सिनारियो जो है, वेयर द सप्लाई इन्वॉल्व इंस्टॉलेशन और असेंबली. ठीक है, जैसे मैंने एक लिफ्ट खरीदा है। नाउ आई डू नॉट नो हाउ टू इंस्टॉल दैट लिफ्ट, सो मैं कोने एलिवेटर्स जिससे मैं खरीदता हूँ उसको बोलता हूँ कि आप ही आके यहाँ पे इंस्टॉल कर दीजिए, मिनिमल चार्जेस लेंगे और इंस्टॉल कर देंगे। ठीक है, तो फिर दैट टीम कमिंग ओवर, दे विल डू द इंस्टॉलेशन जिससे मैं खरीदता हूँ, दे देमसेल्फ विल डू द इंस्टॉलेशन। अगर मैं बोलूंगा इंस्टॉलेशन का लोकेशन यहाँ पे है, देन दैट विल बिकम द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। नाउ आई प्लेस अ ऑर्डर विद द कोने एलिवेटर्स एंड आई टेल you are from Bangalore, I am also from Bangalore, but I have a project running it in the state of Tamil Nadu. So you install this elevator there. So he will install there, and place of supply will be the place where it is actually installed. Clear? Correct. Installation of lift is a service, but the principal supply, my friend, the principal supply is supply of a lift. We have discussed on composite supply. So in case of a composite supply, what did we say? Even if the services is there, the supply of goods is the primary supply. The, okay. Very good, Sandeep. Good to know you. Sir, in this case, if lift is installed in Punjab but built to Himachal Pradesh, कहाँ से supplier कहाँ पे है? However, wherever the supplier is in Delhi, he is installing it in Punjab. तो पंजाब में जो है, पंजाब दिल्ली से दूसरा स्टेट है, सो प्लेस ऑफ लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लाई दिल्ली हो गया, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई पंजाब हो गया। करेक्ट। अगर वो हिमाचल को भी बिल करेगा तो फिर आईजीएसटी ही बिल करेगा। सो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई पंजाब होगा, सप्लायर दिल्ली से है तो वो आईजीएसटी चार्ज करेगा। विथ प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई भी लिखना पड़ेगा, एज प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज पंजाब। बिल तो हिमाचल को कर दिया, लेकिन प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी पंजाब itself. If a customer purchases the goods in same state, Delhi, but the customer asks to install in different place, Punjab, then place of supply is Punjab with IGST. Correct. Correct. जहां पर भी ऐसे गुड्स हैं जहां पे इंस्टॉलेशन करने की जरूरत है, देन द प्लेस या साइट जहां पे इंस्टॉल होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स। So that is 10(1)(d). Now we'll go to the next provision, which is 10(1)(e). Okay, questions here. Each of this is not an exception. Each of this is different. So scenarios है, आपको देखना पड़ेगा. If scenario 1 है, then you apply 10(1)(a). If scenario of build to ship to, then you apply 10(1)(b). If it is a case of installation, then you apply 10(1)(d). So each situation basis the law is drafted. So what is your situation? See that and then decide. So it's not a kind of a exception. Each of it is independent. When the supplier and installation is in same state, then CGST and SGST is applicable. Correct. Now, 10(1)(e), where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance, including a vessel, aircraft, train, or a motorcycle. समझ गए ना आप यहाँ पे? Where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance. So let's take an example again here कि आप ट्रेन में सफर कर रहे हो, तो traveling on a train. अब you are buying something. So what will be the place of supply and GST? The place of supply shall be the location at which such goods are taken on board. ठीक है, ट्रेन में आप सफर कर रहे हो, ट्रेन में आपको कुछ खरीदना है. So you have bought something. Now, what is the place of supply of that goods? We're not talking about services, we're talking only of goods now. The place at which we took it on board. No, no, I'm not saying that you bought it. You are buying it in the train. The supplier is, it's not that you buy it, because when you buy something, you have already paid the GST on it. We are talking of a situation where the caterer or a person is selling on a train, where the train journey starts. Place of supply is train. No, where the train journey starts, that is the place of supply. Now, there is a train coming from Delhi, passing through Mumbai, and then reaching Kolkata. Okay. So, when the train is starting from Delhi, stopping in Mumbai, and then reaching Kerala, at Mumbai, when it stops, somebody has got inside. Now, when that person has got inside in a middle station and he has bought something, for that, what will be the place of supply? Aditya, the place where the buyer registered his business will not be the place, because the place of supply, they've said, will be the location at which such goods are taken on board. The place where he's boarding will be the place of supply. Okay. So in my example, train is moved from Delhi to Mumbai. Goods by the train, by the caterer, were loaded in the Delhi itself. Now I have gotten in Mumbai and the good is moving towards Bangalore. So what is the place of supply in such scenario? Place where he boards. But yeah, that is where the mistake you're doing. What I'm trying to say is the person has boarded, that's fine. But who is the supplier? From supplier's perspective, we'll have to see the place of supply. The place of supply shall be the place at the location at which such goods are taken on board. Now, caterer वाले को पता नहीं था आप कहाँ से चढ़ोगे. He is loaded everything at Delhi. So the place of supply will be Delhi itself, even for a customer who is boarding in Mumbai. Okay, that's where you have to understand that this is not qua or not in relation to the person who is receiving the service, but this is where the goods are getting loaded. कहाँ पे वो load कर रहे हैं goods, that place will become the place of supply. Got it? So that is all in respect of place of supply of goods. MCQ. Okay. So we'll take MCQ here because next we have to go for place of supply of services. So before getting into place of supply of services, let's take few MCQs. Okay, few more questions. Pallavi is saying, like a person bought goods from Delhi and takes that goods on board in Punjab. Then Punjab is a place of supply? No, because you have taken the goods, you have bought the goods from Delhi. Now, did the supplier know where you will consume? From the supplier. Now, I am a shopkeeper. I am selling goods to you at the railway station. When I've sold goods to you, the goods are happening instantly, correct? So, for that, I will apply rule 1, that is 10(1)(a). The place of supply will be the where the goods are movable, where the goods are getting delivered at my store itself. So location of supplier is my store, place of supply also is in my store. Okay. So I will charge CGST and SGST. Now you are taking it and consuming it on board. That is your wish. Because after you pay the GST, I don't have to get involved with you. So my place of supply is confirmed that it is in the same state. Correct? Now, Pallavi, understood? So even if you buy something and move around, the place of supply is already established. Now you are moving the goods. That is your personal choice. But from a GST perspective, supply is completed and it is charged. Correct? Now, that is a scenario 1. Now we are talking of a scenario where you wanted to buy something, but you did not buy it. But now when you're on board a train, somebody is selling it. So for that sale which is happening on board a train, what will be the place of supply is what this 10(1)(e) says. Installation point explain. Okay, installation point is very simple, that place of supply for anything which you have to install. जैसे कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रहा है, कंस्ट्रक्शन करने में आपको वहां पे जाके कुछ इंस्टॉल करना पड़ेगा. सो वेयर यू आर इंस्टॉलिंग, दैट इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. ठीक है. Please explain 10(1)(e) again. When some goods are taken on board and sold on board a conveyance, when a conveyance is moving, like a ship is moving, a train is moving, a flight is moving, right? Anything you sell to your consumers when they are in the flight, when they are in the train, or when they are in a vessel, the place of supply for such goods, what you are selling, will be the place, will be the location at which such goods are taken on board, where you load those goods in your conveyance. When you load those goods in your flight, which place you load those goods in your train, that is the place of supply. That is what 10(1)(e) is saying.
सर, दिल्ली से हमने मुंबई में माल आया और मुंबई के अंदर हमने माल है और कोई और लोड करवा दिया है, तब वो सप्लाई ऑफ प्लेस मुंबई बन जाएगा क्या?
तो जो गुड्स आपने मुंबई में लोड किया, उसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई मुंबई होगा.
ओके सर.
सर,
यस.
अगर ट्रेन में जो माल है वो दिल्ली से लोड हुआ है, लेकिन उसमें कुछ पैसेंजर्स मुंबई से बैठे हैं, और जो ट्रेन है वो फॉर एग्जांपल केरला में, मतलब केरला उसका एंड पॉइंट है, वहां पर वो सारे पैसेंजर्स उतर जाएंगे, और जो पैसेंजर्स मुंबई से बैठे थे और उन्होंने कुछ सामान खरीदा है सर, तो फिर उनका क्या होगा सर? वो भी उस केस में भी दिल्ली होगा क्या?
दिल्ली ही होगा, क्योंकि गुड्स कहाँ पे चढ़ाया गया है वो देखना है, ना कि कस्टमर कहाँ पे चढ़ते हैं.
ओके सर. सर, मुझे एक थर्ड पॉइंट समझ नहीं आया, नॉट इन्वॉल्विंग मूवमेंट वाला.
हम्म. वो इंस्टॉलेशन वाला है ना.
नो
Where the
सर.
supply not involving movement will be the place of supply at which the time of delivery to the recipient. एक फिर से एक दूसरा एग्जांपल देता हूं मैं. आपकी एक ऑफिस है, ठीक है, आपने रेंट पे लिया है. अभी इस ऑफिस में आपने फर्नीचर बना दिया है. अब फर्नीचर तो मूवेबल है, लेकिन उसको अच्छी तरह फिक्स कर दिया, आप अब उसको निकाल भी सकते हो, लेकिन आप क्या बोल रहे हो, नहीं मैं नई ऑफिस जा रहा हूँ, मुझे ये पुराने फर्नीचर यहाँ पे छोड़ के जाना है. तो नया जो टेनेंट आएगा, आप उसको बोलते हो कि आप वैसे भी नया ऑफिस ले रहे हो, मेरा पुराना ऑफिस ले ही रहे हो, तो फिर आप फर्नीचर भी साथ में ले लो. ठीक है. तो वो अग्री
ओके
कर
सर.
देता है एक वैल्यू पे. नाउ जब वो अग्री कर देता है, आप उसको ऐसे ही छोड़ के चले जाओगे, इसमें गुड्स की कुछ मूवमेंट हो रही है.
नो सर.
सो दैट इज अ एग्जांपल ऑफ अ सप्लाई नॉट इन्वॉल्विंग मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स. इन दैट केस द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, अगर वो बाहर गांव से आता है तो क्या आप उसको आईजीएसटी चार्ज करोगे? नहीं, बिकॉज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज द प्लेस वेयर यू आर रजिस्टर्ड एट, एंड द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी द लोकेशन ऑफ द गुड्स फॉर द टाइम ऑफ डिलीवरी. तो आप यहाँ पे डिलीवरी कर रहे हो उसको, सो दिस विल बिकम द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई.
ओके सर.
Yes, Hardik.
सर सर वन स्मॉल क्लैरिफिकेशन सर
Hmm.
इस केस में ऑलवेज सीजीएसटी एंड एसजीएसटी होगा फिर तो
Not necessary. I'll give you another example that if you are having goods which are outside the state, okay, and say you have a branch outside the state, and there you have not taken registration,
यस सर
and there you're emptying your office and giving to somebody. So in that
यस
case, it become an IGST transaction where your location is in state A, place of supply is in state B. So then it will become a IGST transaction.
ओके सर थैंक यू सर
Arun Kumar's question is if one of the branch office of ABC Limited in City A and the registered office is in City B, then the supply happening in City B has also charged IGST. Correct. Because it's a branch office, they have not taken separate registration. So it depends on each facts of the case. In your case, you have taken that it's a branch and branch is not having any kind of a registration, then it is a different matter. If they have taken registration, then that itself is a separate registration. If it is one registration, then my answer stands correct now. But if it is a separate registration, then that has become the location of the supplier. In bill to ship to case, if three-person buyer, recipient, and supplier located at different places, then what would be the place of supply? Whatever will be the place of supply will be where I am billing to party A, where the seller is billing to first party. Then if both are located in different state, IGST. Now, even that person is billing to the person whom I've delivered. If they are in two different state, again IGST. So you have to see where is the nexus that in first scenario, if the person to whom you're billing is in different state, then you charge IGST. Now, if that person has to bill to the ultimate his customer, if they both are in different state, again it will be a interstate transaction. Okay. We'll take a break of 10 minutes here and then we'll come and discuss on the MCQs and take this forward. Can we continue, sir? Kiran Mishra, I pretty much did not understand your question.
Sir,
Yes, Hardik.
sir, one small doubt. Sir, suppose, sir, I am an unregistered buyer of a car, and sir, you are the owner of the car showroom. You are
Okay.
staying in, your showroom is in, suppose your showroom is in Jaipur, and I am staying in Gujarat. I am an unregistered buyer. So, sir, if I come to your showroom and purchase a car, then the place of supply will be Jaipur. Correct,
Correct.
sir? And sir, if I am a registered buyer, then the place of supply will be Gujarat.
No, it will still be Jaipur itself because you are coming to Jaipur and buying it. And I am delivering the car to you at Jaipur itself. I am not taking the responsibility to deliver the car at Gujarat.
So, sir, if FOB is there, then you are delivering it at the gate of Gujarat. Then the place of supply will be Gujarat.
Correct.
Okay, sir. Now clear, sir. Now clear. Thank you, sir.
Manvi, can you explain 10D again? Okay. 10D is where the supply involving installation or assembly of the goods. So if you are selling a machinery, now this machinery has to be is in broken parts and you are a seller and you only have to install it. Others cannot install it. So when the supplier only has to install, then the place of supply will be the place where such installation takes place. Now, that is the place of supply. If the customer is located in the same state, but the customer is saying you install it at my site office, which is in another state. So you will install it at that site office. So the place of supply will not become the recipient's registered office. It becomes the recipient's site office, which is in another state. That will become the place of supply. Clear? Kiran Mishra's question, point number 4.16. Quiz time, right? Tolaram, a supplier, is registered in Uttar Pradesh, having the principal place of business at Noida. Okay. Ask Bholaram of Ahmedabad. Okay, let me display this so that Tolaram Limited, who is a supplier in Uttar Pradesh, having principal place of business at Noida, asks Bholaram Limited of Ahmedabad, Gujarat, okay, to deliver 50 washing machines to its buyer Jholaram at Jaipur. The place of supply between Tolaram and Jholaram is what place? So, firstly, Tolaram and Jholaram. Tolaram asked Bholaram Limited of Ahmedabad to deliver goods to Jholaram. So, is there a supply between Bholaram and Jholaram? No, Bholaram to Tolaram. Now, this person is in Ahmedabad and I am having my principal place of business at supplier registered in Uttar Pradesh, having the principal place of business at Noida. Okay, which is not relevant because I am registered in Uttar Pradesh. That is relevant. So for first transaction, it is Uttar Pradesh. that is the place of supply. And for second transaction, which Tolaram will bill to its customer, that will become the place of supply will become Gujarat. Okay. So like how I had discussed, that itself is given to you in a confusing manner with same names. So identify that what is the supplier's place of supply. In case I am telling Bolaram to give goods to me, he will bill to me. Where am I located? I am located in Uttar Pradesh. So that is the place of supply. And the goods are getting delivered to Ahmedabad. So I will bill to Ahmedabad. That is the place of supply. So answer is Uttar Pradesh is the first place of supply, and place of supply between Bolaram and Tolaram will be the place of Bolaram, which is Ahmedabad. Clear? Delivered to Jaipur. Okay, it's getting deliver 50 washing machines to Jaipur. Correct. Second is Jaipur. From Ahmedabad to Jaipur. You're right. So second is Jaipur, and first transaction is in Noida, Uttar Pradesh. Correct. Uttar Pradesh and Jaipur. In your example, Hardik, yes, where the car is getting delivered, then it is CGST and SGST. Correct. Kiran Mishra, is your query answered?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Sir,
Yes.
second question is the Tolaram, between the Tolaram and Jholaram. Jholaram is a recipient of the goods where the goods are delivered, and Tolaram is the buyer, whom instruction the goods are delivered.
Correct.
Then between them, Tolaram and Jholaram, what would be the place of supply? Place of supply would be the recipient, place of recipient.
Correct. There are two
That is
transactions.
Uttar Pradesh.
No. Tolaram is the recipient in first transaction. In second transaction, he's a supplier.
Tolaram is the first buyer.
Correct. He's the first
He's
buyer.
a buyer.
And in second scenario, he's a seller.
Seller. Yes,
Correct.
sir.
So first, what is happening is, if you see the transaction is that Bolaram is one, who is the supplier actually.
Sir, according to me, the answer would be Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan. Uttar Pradesh for the between Tolaram and Jholaram.
Correct.
For Tolaram and Jholaram, it is Uttar Pradesh, and for between Bholaram and Tolaram, it is Rajasthan.
Correct. You're right.
And here the ऑप्शन में नोएडा नहीं दिया हुआ है. प्रिंसिपल प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस जो है नोएडा है, लेकिन ऑप्शन में दिया ही नहीं है नोएडा.
नोएडा इज अ सिटी मैडम, उसका स्टेट कौन सा है? नोएडा इज इन उत्तर प्रदेश, नो?
यस सर.
So city will not become the place of supply, the state will become place of supply. Noida is in Uttar Pradesh, so place of supply will become Uttar Pradesh.
Uttar Pradesh. Sir,
Correct,
my
na?
answer is right?
Yeah, it is correct.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, Bhavna.
Sir, in this scenario, Tolaram delivered goods to Jholaram on the instruction of Bholaram, on the
Correct.
order of Bholaram.
asked Bolaram to deliver 50 washing machines to its buyer Jholaram. Correct.
Sir,
So the
here
instruction is being given by Tolaram. Instruction is being given by Tolaram. The question is very twisted. Okay. Seller will not give instruction to the buyer. The first buyer will give instructions to the first seller.
okay.
So Tolaram is the first buyer. He is giving instruction to the first seller to deliver it to its customer,
Okay,
who
sir.
is in Rajasthan. So there are two supplies. In a bill to ship to transaction, there will be two supplies always.
सर इसमें फिर जो तोलाराम है वो डायरेक्टली सप्लाई कर रहा है भोलाराम के कहने पर झोलाराम को.
Correct.
तो सर फिर इसमें जो तोलाराम और भोलाराम के बीच कनेक्शन होगा ना सर, उसको फिर झोलाराम से क्या वो है? आपने एक पॉइंट ऐसे लिखवाया भी था ना सर.
देखिए यहाँ पे अभी ये ट्रांजैक्शन आपने समझ लिया है. मैं जो एंटर कर रहा हूँ दिख रहा है ना आपको, भोलाराम झोलाराम.
यस सर.
करेक्ट. तो भोलाराम जो है किसके इंस्ट्रक्शंस पे झोलाराम को सेल कर रहा है?
भोलाराम के.
करेक्ट. तो भोलाराम सप्लाई कर रहा है झोलाराम को, डिलीवरी कर रहा है, लेकिन बिल कर रहा है तोलाराम को.
यस सर.
सो दिस सिनारियो इज बिल टू. So here he is billing to Tolaram and shipping to Jholaram.
यस सर.
Correct. तो bill to ship to में हमने पढ़ा था कि to party to whom you bill, that you have to raise a invoice. और तोलाराम का लोकेशन कहाँ पे है? तोलाराम है उत्तर प्रदेश में. सो द फर्स्ट ट्रांजैक्शन का प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई हो जाएगा उत्तर प्रदेश,
यस
और
सर.
सेकेंड ट्रांजैक्शन का होगा तोलाराम से झोलाराम जो है जयपुर में.
सर मुझे इसमें ये क्लियर नहीं है कि ट्रांजैक्शन तो इन तीनों के बीच एक ही हुई ना सर.
एक
भोलाराम
ट्रांजैक्शन
डायरेक्टली तो
हुई नहीं है. ट्रांजैक्शन एक नहीं हुई है ना. आप सिचुएशन देखिए, तीन पार्टी इन्वॉल्व है तो दो ट्रांजैक्शन तो होंगे. अगर तोलाराम ने बोल दिया भोलाराम को कि सप्लाई टू झोलाराम, सो इज द ट्रांजैक्शन कंप्लीट. बस एक ही ट्रांजैक्शन है, तो फिर भोलाराम को पेमेंट
क्लियर
कौन
हुआ.
करेगा?
यस सर, क्लियर हुआ. मीन्स ट्रांजैक्शन भोलाराम बिटवीन द भोलाराम एंड तोलाराम, एंड द सेकंड इज बिटवीन द तोलाराम एंड झोलाराम.
करेक्ट.
ओके सर, क्लियर सर.
Okay. So now we will go into the MCQs, then we'll deal on place of supply. So MCQ for place of supply of goods. Ram Limited of Maharashtra contracts with Shyam Limited of Rajasthan to sell his old used furniture of 1,50,000 rupees. The goods will be delivered to Shyam Limited at Gujarat to his new branch, which is not registered under GST. Now identify the place of supply if the delivery was made by Ram Limited at his own risk. Maharashtra reverse charge. Maharashtra. So you are saying Rajasthan also. See, Ram Limited is in Maharashtra. He is contracted with Sham Limited to sell his old furniture. The goods will be delivered to Sham Limited at Gujarat. So where is the delivery happening? The delivery is happening at Gujarat, and place of supply of goods is the place where the goods are getting terminated. So in this case, in this transaction, the goods are getting terminated at Gujarat. So of course, the place of supply will be Gujarat then. Correct? Why are you getting confused with Maharashtra and Rajasthan? Okay, so the place of supply is Gujarat. Not registered under GST, doesn't matter. When we discussed 10(1)(a), we did not say whether it is registered or unregistered. Supplier, if he's registered, he will charge GST based on where the goods are getting delivered. For goods, you don't have to see whether the recipient is registered or unregistered. That is not your criteria. Okay, so you will see the supply where the goods are getting delivered. That is the place of supply. Simple. Ram Limited has the risk of delivery. Correct. He has the risk of delivery. Where he is delivering it to? He is delivering it to Gujarat. So the place of supply will be Gujarat because he himself is delivering it. Okay. If he was not delivering it, Sham Limited was coming and buying it, then the place of supply will become Maharashtra. But he is supplying it to the place of the location, which is he's delivering it to Gujarat. So the place of supply will become Gujarat. We have contract. The contract doesn't matter. Have we spoken anything about contract in 10(1)(a)? We have not spoken anything about contract. So contract doesn't matter in case of supply of goods. All of those things, Shruti, will come in case of supply of services, which you have not yet started. So in case of goods, it is the place where the goods are actually getting delivered. Okay, don't get confused. Goods is very simple. Please do not complicate it. As per IGST Act, of course, this is not part of your syllabus, but just to understand what is export of goods. आपके हिसाब से क्या होना चाहिए? What is export of goods? Okay. So in case of export of goods, it is called as export because sale of a foreign country, fine, that is a normal understanding. Location is outside India, place of supply is outside India, it's fine. But the definition of export says that you have to take out of India to place outside India. The definition of export under the GST law, under the IGST Act, says that export of goods means taking goods outside India. So that is the important condition for export. Other things is general, but the law in the act, they have mentioned what is the definition. That definition is what is being asked here. Taking of the goods to a place outside India is the definition of export of goods. Supply of goods or services. Now we have understood a SEZ unit, and we have also known what is a interstate supply, correct? And what happens when you do any transaction in a SEZ. We have already discussed this. Now, what happens to a situation where there is supply of goods to a unit in SEZ? If the unit is located in the same state, from one SEZ to another SEZ, what will it be? This also is very confusing. It will not become zero rated supply. It will not become export supply. It will become a interstate supply because you are not supplying it from a non-SEZ to SEZ. If you are supplying it from a non-SEZ to SEZ, then it is a export supply. But if there is two SEZs are within the same state, still it will not be treated as a intrastate supply. From one SEZ to another SEZ, it will be treated as an interstate supply. Okay, from one SEZ to another, it is a interstate supply. Question number 4. Mr. A is in Goa. He delivers goods in Goa itself to B. Now, such delivery was a direction of C, which was situated at Pune. Now, same Bolaram Tolaram situation, instead of giving a detailed thing, this question is I am given you in a very simple term. Now, what will be the charge which will be levied? Most of the answers, what I'm getting is it is A. Okay. So the correct answer is that yes, A is correct. The transaction A will charge CGST, SGST. No, because let us understand this clearly. A, who is in Goa, he is delivers the goods to B. Okay, so I'll mention, but under whose instruction? Under C's instructions. So always when there is bill to ship to, write the flow, so then you will understand. A is in Goa, he will bill to C. Now C is situated in Pune, and the goods will be ultimately sold to B, who is again in Goa. This question you asked me also. So A will bill to C, C will bill to B, because who has got the contract? C has got the contract. C has told that A boy, you deliver to your person in B who is in Goa, correct? But even though the goods are moving within the state, you will not charge intrastate, because in a bill to ship to transaction, A will bill to the person who has made the order. Now C has the given the order, because such delivery was made at the direction of C. Correct? So I'm doing this at the direction of C. So A will bill to C. Now Goa and Pune is in different states, so I will bill IGST. Correct? Once I bill a IGST, then C will charge again IGST to B, because this is interstate and this is also interstate. So A will charge to C, which is IGST, and C will charge to B again IGST. So the answer is both B and C. Clear? Mr. A from New Delhi has leased his machinery to B of Noida, Uttar Pradesh. So you need to very well know कि cities कौन से और उसके states कौन से, so that you don't get confused with the taxes of the states. वहाँ पे आपको you'll have a bigger problem. So just have general knowledge on the states and their cities. For production of goods on a monthly rent of 40,000 rupees. After 14 months, B requested Mr. A to sell the machinery to him, which is agreed by A. Now determine the place of supply. The location can be seen. So if you see there are two locations, but what is the basis for that location? You'll have to mention. Aditya, if you're saying none of the above, then which is the state according to you? Yes, Gurmeet Kaur. After we finish this query, we will go to that who are the person involved are again confusing there. So we'll again go back to that and understand with fresh eyes. But you understand the concept here. If you understand the concept here, then we'll be able to answer that properly. Okay. So many people are saying it is B because location of Mr. B. Location of Mr. B in case of goods is not relevant. Location of the person is not important. In case of supply of goods, where the goods are located, that is important. Correct? That is what we had discussed, that where the supply does not involve movement. Here the supply is not involving movement because the machine is already there with Mr. B and that was there at Noida. So the place of supply will be the location of that machine, which is Noida. So the answer is C. Pure Refineries gives a contract to PQ Limited to assemble a power plant on its Kutch refinery. Determine the place of supply. Deepak, in your previous example, you assumed that it was returned. That was not returned because nowhere in the facts they have mentioned that the machinery was returned. The machinery was with the Mr. B itself. So that's why the place of supply will be the location where the machinery is located. Correct. Most of you are given correct answer here. The correct answer is C because the place where you will assemble it. Assembling is done at Kutch. So that will become the place of supply. Seventh question. RCOM is having its registered office at New Delhi. It purchases huge generator set from Cummins Limited, which is located in Pune. RCOM wants to install this generator set at its branch office located in Pune. What is the place of supply in this case? Seventh one, B, correct, very simple. The place of installation. Pune being the place of installation. Okay. Last MCQ. Where will be the place of supply of goods supplied in a train which is heading towards Delhi from Tirunelveli if the goods were taken on board from Coimbatore? Correct. Correct. Very rightly put. Where it is loaded at, that is important. So loading हुआ था कोयम्बतूर में, so that will be the place of supply. Load of the goods is happening at Coimbatore, so the place of supply will be Coimbatore. Hardik, 10A says very simply this thing. 10A simply says that where the goods are getting delivered, that is the place of supply. Now, if you agree with your customer that you will deliver at his location, then that is the place of supply. Now, if you do not agree that you will do the transportation and he comes and picks it up from your location, then the place of supply is your location. Okay. That is a simple thing. Don't get confused with the terms of FOB and things like that. That is only there to confuse you. Where the goods are getting delivered, that is the place of supply. Okay. Now we'll again go back to Tolaram, Jholaram because there's a lot of confusion again people have. Let's again put this chart. Unless we put this chart, I think it will become very tough to understand. Yes. Let's together deal with this. Don't get carried away with the question. Question is very simple. If your concepts are clear, like how we know in case of bill to ship to, like that we'll go and mention the person's name, the state, and how the flow is happening. So you have to understand the question first. Tolaram Limited is a supplier who is registered in Uttar Pradesh, having his principal place of business at Noida. So Tolaram is one person who is having his registered office in Uttar Pradesh. He will ask Bholaram of Ahmedabad. Bholaram is in Ahmedabad to deliver 50 washing machines to its buyer. So the transaction starts from Bholaram. Bholaram is the one who is supplying the goods. Bholaram is from Gujarat. He is delivering it to its buyer. Whose buyer? Tolaram's buyer. So the flow of invoices will be Bholaram will bill to Tolaram and Tolaram will bill to Jholaram. Correct? That is the flow of transaction. That is what we understand also from this. First is Bholaram. He will supply, invoice it to Tolaram, and Tolaram will invoice to his customer in Jholaram. Now, where is this Bholaram situated at? He is at Gujarat. He will bill to Tolaram. Tolaram is where he is in UP. And then Jholaram. Where is Jholaram? Jholaram is there in Jaipur, which is Rajasthan. Correct? This is the transaction. Now you see the CA question, how it comes. It is very smart. So first we will mention that Gujarat to UP. So the first transaction is UP, then second is Rajasthan. But that is where we should not do a mistake. We should not do that mistake, because here we have to read the question. What are they wanting to ask? Here it says the place of supply between Tolaram and Jholaram. They are first asking what is the place of supply for this. We will generally think that first supply they will ask, then this. No. In this case, they have asked what is the place of supply between Tolaram and Jholaram. What is the place between Tolaram and Jholaram according to you? Rajasthan. Correct? Because Tolaram will bill to Jholaram and he is in Rajasthan. He will bill where he is located. So in first scenario, the place of supply is Rajasthan. So correct answer is Rajasthan first. And now they're asking, what is the place of supply between Bholaram and Tolaram? Bholaram will bill to Tolaram, who is in UP. So second one is UP. So the correct answer is, they have reversed the transaction. First is what you bill, second is what that person bills. But the question is asking, first is between Tolaram and Jholaram, what is the GST? And for this, they have mentioned the second. They have reversed the flow. So you have to answer it very carefully. First is Rajasthan, second is UP. Okay. Now clear? Correct. So if you get the basics, Shruti, then yes, any confusing question will not confuse you. Okay, so now we are clear with the place of supply and place of supply for goods. Now we will go to place of supply for services. Okay, place of supply of goods, we got very much confused because there were various aspects in case of bill to ship to, but otherwise the concept is very simple. Even in bill to ship to, it is simple. Just because of this question of Bholaram, Jholaram पूरे झोल में डाल दिया है, बट ऐसा कुछ झोल डालने की जरूरत नहीं है. सिंपल है. इन केस ऑफ बिल टू शिप टू ट्रांजैक्शन, आप किसको बिल करोगे, दैट इज योर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, right? And that second person to whom he will bill, that is the place of supply for the second transaction. Now we'll get into place of supply for services, which is given in section 12. Section 12 of the IGST Act says, I will tell you what is the place of supply for services. Why place of supply for services? मैंने पहले डरा दिया था, because it is lot of data points are there. क्योंकि services में क्या क्या हो सकता है, location of service provider हो सकता है अलग, location of service receiver हो सकता है अलग, and they can maybe provide services from anywhere. Services कहाँ से भी perform हो सकते हैं. So place of performance can vary, place of consumption can vary, and the actual beneficiary or the place and person will be varying. When we discuss the scenarios, I'll explain you how and where. Let us not spend time in analyzing how can it be different. It can be different, when we go through the various rules, we'll get to know that for each kind of services, the actual beneficiary can be different. So there are various data points for provision of services. Now we have to understand few important definitions before we get into the place of supply. First is location of supplier of service. What is the location of supplier of service is defined. Location of supplier of service means if the supply is made from the place of business for which registration is obtained. Okay? Now one person is there who is registered. Now, if he is providing some service, okay, he can provide from anywhere, but he is registered. In that case, where the place of business for which registration is obtained, he has obtained the registration. In that scenario, the place of supply will be the location of such place of business. Okay. A service provider has taken registration and he's taken a registration in the state of Karnataka, Bangalore. Now he is going to Jaipur and providing services in Jaipur. Okay. He is providing services in Jaipur, completing in Jaipur and coming back to Bangalore. What will be the place of supply? No, we'll not go to the place of supply. We'll go to the location of supplier of service. What is his location? Even if he is going to Jaipur, his location will be Bangalore. It will not become Jaipur because he is registered. He is registered where the place of business for which registration is obtained is the location of such place of business. Where that business is registered, that will become the location of supplier of service. Okay. We are not getting into place of supply. Okay. Place of supply are different rules. We are only getting into the definition of location of supplier of service. So if the person is registered where he's taken the registration, that is the location of supplier. If it is a fixed establishment elsewhere, where the person is taken registration, but he's providing services from a fixed establishment elsewhere. In my first example, he did not have a fixed establishment in Jaipur. So the location of supplier was Bangalore. Now, this person in Bangalore is having another fixed establishment in Tamil Nadu. Okay, from where he is providing services. How is a fixed establishment determined? By having some permanent resources, permanent structure that he's using it on a permanent basis. That is called as a fixed establishment. If I am providing that services from that fixed establishment, like first example in Jaipur, I was providing only temporary service. I was not providing services from there. I was providing services from Bangalore. I had just gone there, completed and come back. But second scenario is where I'm providing my services from this fixed establishment. Then the location of such fixed establishments becomes the location of supplier. Okay. First is he is registered, then the place where he is registered from. But apart from registration, if he's providing services from any other fixed establishment, then that fixed establishment becomes the location of supplier. Third scenario where more than one registration is there or more than one establishment is there. He's providing certain services from Bangalore, certain services from Tamil Nadu. Then the place of establishment of business or fixed establishment will be the location of that establishment, which is more directly concerned with the provision of service. If he's providing services from more than one place, one is registered and one fixed establishment, then it gets confused. That's why the law says, don't say that you are providing 50% from here, 50% from there. Don't do that. Identify the location of that establishment which is most directly concerned. From there, you are providing the service. Okay. And in a case of any such place where you're not registered or you're not having a fixed establishment, then the usual place of residence of the supplier, which means if he's registered, you know that it's registered place. If he's not registered and he's providing a service, then in such case, the location of supplier will be the usual place of his residence. Why this is relevant? Because if there is some person who is not registered and he has to pay GST, to which state it will go to determine that the location of supplier is important. If he is registered, that will be the location of supplier. If he is not registered, his usual place of residence will become the location of the supplier. Fixed establishment should be registered. Generally, it should be. If it is not registered, right, and services are being provided still from there, that will become the location of supplier. Example, a software consultant, a software engineer, he is providing services as a freelancer. Now, if he is providing as a freelancer, he is very much aware that he has to pay GST, he is registered. So the place where he is registered, that will become the location of his supplier. Now he is not registered, he is only providing services, and the GST authorities get to know that you are providing so many services and you're not charging GST, come pay GST. They caught him in Jaipur. But there, can they say that is the place of provision? No, because his usual place of residence is in Bangalore. So the Bangalore, which means the Karnataka GST authorities will give him the registration and tell the place of supply is your usual place of business, which is in Bangalore. So you have to register in Bangalore. That will become the place of supply. It will become the location of supplier of service, not the place of supply. That will become the location of supplier of services. If supplier provides services through its branches, which all are registered, if he provides services from the branches which is registered, then that branch which is providing the service, that will become the location of the supplier.
सर इन केस ऑफ फिक्स एस्टेब्लिशमेंट, सर फिक्स एस्टेब्लिशमेंट मींस एक एरिया डिसाइड कर दे कि इसी को सप्लाई मानना है,
नहीं,
प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई
fixed
मानना है.
establishment is any place. The definition of fixed establishment क्या बोलता है, मैं आपको पढ़ लेता हूँ. फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट का डेफिनेशन है, फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट मींस अ प्लेस अदर देन द प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस but which is characterized by sufficient degree of permanence and suitable structure in terms of human and technical resources to supply services or to receive and use services for its own use. मतलब आप कोई भी शेड टेम्पररी जगह को आप फिक्स्ड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट नहीं बोल सकते. उसमें कुछ परमानेंस रहना चाहिए कि हाँ आप वहां से सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो, वहां पे कोई ह्यूमन रिसोर्स है, सम एम्प्लॉई है और कुछ टेक्निकल रिसोर्सेस है, तब उसे कहेंगे फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट. If you are providing services at your registered office, that is a registered office. Now, apart from this, you have some establishment from where you're providing some other services. Then that some other place will become a fixed establishment if you are providing services from there, having some permanence in terms of human resources and some technical resources. तब
Sir,
उसे कहेंगे fixed establishment.
सर फिक्स एस्टेब्लिशमेंट मोर देन वन हो सकते हैं?
हो सकता है, yes.
फिर उस केस में
अगर
जहां से सप्लाई होगा वो एरिया
Correct.
प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई माना जाएगा.
correct, correct.
ओके सर.
If I am in car washing business in Mumbai, you're registered. Give services to XYZ Limited registered in Gujarat. I give services in Mumbai. Then what is the place of supply of service? Place of supply, we'll come to it later on, Nayan Patil. Location of supplier is what we are into. Place of supply. After understanding location of supplier, we'll come to the place of supply. It's not compulsory for registration in fixed establishment. Not compulsory. If you have taken registration, fine. But if you're providing services from there and it is not registered, okay, but there is some permanent fixtures which you have and you're providing services, then you will have to register that place also. Okay. It is given in a situation where if you have not registered, still that can be a place of supply, is what the law is trying to say. You cannot say that, no, I'm not registered that place, I've registered this place, so from this place only I will pay GST. Not necessary. If you're providing services from a fixed establishment, if it is registered, pay GST from there. If it is not registered, but you're providing services from there, still that can be the location of the supplier. Okay. Similarly, you have location of supplier of goods. Now we are discussing what the heading says, location of supplier of services. But location of supplier of goods तो हमने discuss किया ही नहीं, because location of supplier of goods is very simple, is where the business is ordinarily carried on or where the goods themselves are located. Where you ordinarily carry on business, that is the location of supplier. क्योंकि goods के केस में जहां से goods move होते हैं, that is the place. So where the business is ordinarily carried on or where the goods themselves are located, that is the location of supplier of goods. Simple. So we understood location of supplier of services and location of supplier of goods. Now location of recipient of services, reciprocally है. Location of recipient of services is where the supply is received at a place of business for which registration is obtained, then location of such place of business. If you are receiving the services at any other fixed establishment, then the location of such fixed establishment. If more than one place you're receiving, then the place which is most directly concerned. And then in absence of any such place, usual place of residence of the recipient. Location of supplier of goods is defined, but the location of recipient of goods is not defined, because recipient of goods is not required. Wherever the goods are getting terminated, the place of supply, that is sufficient. But for services, recipient can be various places. That's why they have defined location of recipient of services also. Clear? Location of supplier of services, location of recipient of services. We are not yet into place of supply. Once we understand this, then we'll go to the place of supply rules. Yes, Virendra Sharma.
Sir, I'm asking you that in between what is different recipient? Sir, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है सर कि जो रजिस्ट्रेशन मतलब कि रिसिपिएंट है तो रिसिपिएंट का एक फिक्स प्लेस होगा, ऐसा है क्या सर?
नहीं, अगर आप किसी को सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो तो आप कहाँ पे प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो? अब रिसिपिएंट हर जगह पे रह सकता है, वो आएगा जयपुर में लेकिन उसका रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस बैंगलोर में होगा, वो यहाँ से सर्विस लेके जा रहा है, तो फिर उसका प्लेस ऑफ रिसिपिएंट लोकेशन उसका क्या होगा, वो डिटरमाइन करने के लिए ये डेफिनेशन दिया गया है.
जैसे सर जो सप्लायर है उसका प्लेस एक मतलब कि स्टेबलाइज है, फिक्स है, तो वो उसका है फिक्स, तो वो सप्लायर ऑफ प्लेस हो जाएगा. और रिसिपिएंट ऑफ सर्विस जो एक रिसिपिएंट का एक फिक्स है, तो जहाँ हम प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं सर्विस.
करेक्ट, लेकिन फिक्स्ड है, रजिस्ट्रेशन जहाँ पे लिया है वो प्लेस हो जाएगा, लेकिन उसने रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं लिया है तो फिर आप क्या करोगे? तो फिर उसका यूजुअल प्लेस जहां पे वो उसका घर है उसे लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट कहेंगे.
मतलब कि सर दोनों केसेस में?
नहीं, फर्स्ट केस में अगर रजिस्टर्ड है तो फिर उसके रेसिडेंस का प्लेस देखने की जरूरत नहीं है.
और फर्स्ट केस में अनरजिस्टर्ड है तो सर?
तो फिर फिक्स्ड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट जहां पर वो जनरली बिजनेस करता है, दैट विल बिकम द प्लेस.
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर.
Sir, I am from Bangalore and have a fixed establishment, not registered in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so you are in Bangalore, but you have a fixed establishment in Tamil Nadu. Now I'm providing services to a person in Gujarat. What will be the location of supplier? Location of supplier will be the fixed establishment because you're providing services from that fixed establishment. So Tamil Nadu will become the location of the supplier. Location of recipient will be Gujarat because the person who's receiving the service is in Gujarat. So location of recipient will become Gujarat. In case of services, Sanya, where there is no fixed establishment like e-commerce services and things, that's where this residuary part is there, no? Where if you do not have a fixed establishment, then in absence of any such place, correct? Then the usual place of residence will become the location. So usual place of residence of the supplier or the usual place of residence of the recipient will become the location of the supplier or recipient accordingly. Okay, so now once we have understood the definition, now we'll go to place of supply of services where the location of supplier and recipient is in India. Both should be India. The location of supplier should be in India and location of recipient should be in India. If one of them is outside India, say location of supplier is outside India, but recipient is in India, then section 12 will not apply. Or where the location of supplier is in India, but location of recipient is outside India, still section 12 will not apply. Then you have to go to section 13. The provisions of this section shall apply to determine the place of supply where location of supplier of services and location of recipient is in India. That is point number 1. Then section 12 are in relation to domestic supply of services. Section 13 are in relation to supply of services where service provider or recipient is outside India, which is outside of your syllabus. Now to start with the rule 12.2, which is the basic rule, says that to start off, you start with the procedure. You check if rule 12.3 to rule 14 is applicable or no. Okay. The rule 12.2 is a guiding rule. It says that first you determine whether your services falls under 12.3 or 12.14. 12.3 to 12.14 are giving type of services. If you are falling under those type of services, then go and follow that. If you are falling under 12.3 to 12.14, if you say yes, then apply those relevant rules, because each of these rule is a specific rule and I am a general rule. The rule itself, I've mentioned that it's a general rule. So you'll go to 12.3 to 12.14, check if those specific service rules apply to you. If that is applicable, then apply that rule. If it is not, then you come and apply rule 12. So we have to go to rule 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, to up to 14. Check if any of those rules apply to the nature of service what I'm providing. If it is fitting there, then I will apply that. Otherwise, if not, then I will come to the general rule. This is the flow. So 12.2 we'll discuss later on, because first we have to go to 12.3 to 12.14. So we'll go to 12.3 first. 12.3 says if there is a service in relation to any immovable property. Okay. If there is any service in relation to any immovable property, in relation to immovable property, I'm not saying there is a supply of immovable property. There is a service in relation to that immovable property or any lodging accommodation in a hotel, boat, vessel, etc. Then what is the place of supply? So we know the location of supplier and location of recipient. Now we are coming to the place of supply. In case of what? In case of supply of services relating to immobile property or any lodging accommodation in a hotel or any such kind, where the such location of that immobile property is located in India, then the place of supply will be the location of such immobile property, boat or vessel. And if it is outside India, then the location of the recipient. So what is it saying? If you have a construction of house to be done, construction of a house, correct? Or any kind of a construction of a civil structure, building which you are doing, or you are developing some machinery which will become immobile. So if there is some supply of service relating to that immobile property, and that immobile property, your house you're constructing in India, then the place of supply will be the location of such immobile property, firstly. So where this immobile property is located, that is the place of supply. And now they're saying that apart from immobile property, if there is any lodging, if there's any stay in a hotel, it could be a hotel, it could be a boat, it could be a vessel, or anything where you are going and staying, then the place of supply will be again, if it's a hotel, where that hotel is located, if it's a boat, where that boat is situated, and if it's a vessel, where that vessel is located. Vessel का मतलब ship हो गया, जो ship हो गया, cruise हो गया, where those things are located, that will become the place of supply. Now, if that immobile property is in India, then जहां पर भी है, आप घूमने गए हो जम्मू कश्मीर में, जम्मू कश्मीर में आप स्टे करोगे, सो व्हेन यू स्टे इन जम्मू एंड कश्मीर इन अ होटल, द होटल पर्सन is deciding what GST he has to charge. So location of supplier is where he is registered. Place of supply is where that immobile property is located. That immobile property is located in Jammu and Kashmir. So what will he charge then? You are going from South India to Jammu and Kashmir. Now what will the hotelier charge? Hotelier will charge CGST and SGST only. Because the place of supply is where that immobile property is located. Okay, so he will charge you CGST and SGST. Now, you are saying that, okay, you have gone for Jammu and Kashmir this year. Next year, you want to go to Europe. So you have gone to Europe. But the supplier is giving you the stay is in India itself. The location of supplier and place of supply should be in India. That is the first criteria. So supplier is in India. This person, Sunil Shetty, he is having a property in Europe. He is in India. You are also in India. Now you tell him, I want to use your property in Europe. Okay, go use it. So since it is outside India, will you not pay GST? You will still pay GST because the location of the supplier and location of recipient is in India. The property is outside India, I agree. But this rule, section 12(3) says, where the location of immobile property is outside India, the place of supply will be the location of the recipient. If I am in Bangalore, I am going to Sunil Shetty telling that I want to use that property. The place of supply, like in other immobile properties, is where that immobile property is situated. But if that immobile property is outside India, then the place of supply will be the location of the recipient. Where I am located, that will be the place of supply. Got this? Bangalore and Sunil Shetty, then IGST, yes, that's correct. So that is the place of supply in case of immobile properties. Outside India, both parties, then if what is outside India? Shruti, your question is not clear. Now, how do you decide or what is the criteria for this? Is they've given scenarios where they've said that if anything is directly in relation to the immobile property, which is the architect services, interior decorators, surveyors, engineers, estate agents, these are the services which is directly related to immobile property. Any grant of rights, okay, if you have to take some permission and some grant of right has to be given, right? That also is in relation to this immobile property. Lodging accommodation, which could be hotel, inn, guest house, homestay, or any kinds of camps or clubhouse, including a houseboat. All of that is lodging accommodation and accommodation in immobile property for organizing marriage, reception matters, any kind of social matters you can have, or any services ancillary to the services referred. All of this will be based on the place of supply, will be based on where that immobile property is located. That will determine the place of supply. Wherever that immobile property is located, that is the place of supply. तो आप जब कभी स्टे करने के लिए जा रहे हो, that hotelier will always charge you CGST, SGST of that stay. Correct, so Hardik, if both are in Bangalore, then CGST and SGST, right? So in case of immobile properties, if it is located in India, then where that immobile property is located, that is the place of supply. And second scenario where location of supplier and location of recipient is in India, but immobile property is outside India, then the place of supply will be the location of the recipient. Clear? So we'll discuss in next class what are other instances. Okay. Apart from 12.3, then we'll go to 12.3 various scenarios, and then we'll discuss other services. But understand that 12.3 will discuss, then up to 12.14, then we'll come back to 12.2. Indian case, always CGST and SGST. Correct. In Indian case, it will always be CGST and SGST. Okay. So we'll see you in the next class. Go through the place of supply so that we can quickly take it up. And this will be a little complicated. So if you read through beforehand, that will be very helpful. Thank you, Jinky, Pranav, Kiran, Saundarya. Good that you are able to learn through it. Ajay Surya, yes, thank you very much.